How you doing, everybody? I hope you're doing well. I've got some bimbos here for you. Let's get into it.
I'm talking to the single women in Minneapolis that are in their 30s. I'm curious where people are finding guys that are not on the dating apps because I'm very, very, very over the dating apps at this point. And I'm looking to find places to go out in Minneapolis or the Twin Cities area that has people that are in a similar age that's not just going to like a club or anything, because that is not my scene at all. Being 33, I have no desire to spend my Friday nights at 10 p.m. going out. That's just not at all what I'm interested in. So if you have any suggestions for places in Minneapolis, things to do, and not joining intramural co-ed teams, because sports are just not my thing and I don't really enjoy the idea of having to sit at a co-ed sports.
Fuck dating, man. Dating is dead. And the reason it's dead is because women today are not worth dating. They're all whores, they're all entitled, and it's just not an enjoyable experience for the man.
League or something just to meet somebody. So if you have any other ideas of where to go that's generally a pretty social environment, I would love to hear from you, because honestly, I'm over the apps. Like I said, I'm over it. Also, if you are one of the single women in your 30s in Minneapolis and I'm trying to talk to, go ahead and give me a follow, because I'm very curious about your experiences.
I don't want to cope anymore. I don't want to do this shit anymore. I'm tired.
I am single at 31, and that is definitely not something I ever thought I would be saying. When I was younger, that I would be married with kids, I'd have my house at 31, and instead my partner of 4 years and I have decided to go separate ways. I have moved back to Sydney in with my parents, semi-treated like a 14-year-old, like they forgot that well, at least my mum has forgotten that I know how to live. And honestly, it feels embarrassing. You know, the first thing I think of is being 31 and so many of my friends are in happy relationships with kids, they're engaged, they're married, and I'm like, cool. Obviously so happy for them, but then I look at myself and I'm like, wow, I'm just not where I thought I would be.
She's not happy about that. Women are jealous as fuck of other women. When they see another woman happy, another woman have a thriving relationship with a man, they get jealous and they do their best to ruin that relationship.
And it's certainly a hard pill to swallow, like a really, really hard pill to swallow, especially moving into my parents' house. You know, like my room is the same as it was when I was like 18 years old. I want to find my own place, but Sydney rentals are ridiculous at the moment, and I'm like, I can't afford to spend $600 to $900 a week on rent. Plus, I also think I want to go traveling and live between like Sydney, Melbourne, LA, and London. Waiting for the part where I get excited about life and my next chapter, because
Excited, like these women have already had their excitements in their early 20s. Okay, that's why they're all burned out, and nothing makes them happy, nothing excites them, because they've already got fucked in their 20s by Chads and Tyrones, and the average guy doesn't excite them.
is that one closed and decision we made, but like, you know, I think it's the right one, and that's the thing, you never know if it is the right decision or not. I just want people to know they're not alone. You know, if you're 31 and recently single, if you're in your 30s recently single, if you're like in your 20s and recently single, like, I'm right there with you. I feel you. And you know what? Let's share this journey together, because I need an outlet. Otherwise, I will probably just go insane. So, single and 31. Here we go.
I don't want to be a strong, independent woman no more. I'm tired of this, Grandpa. Y'all women on Al Gore's internet talking about, I don't need a man for nothing. Girl, you in that rose. I don't care. I'm ready for somebody to take care of me, and I don't mean financially. Getting your rubbed, watching a movie after a long day, top tier. I don't need a man financially, but I want a man physically, spiritually, mentally. I want somebody to take fire photos with, and I can put on my phone and I can never show nobody. That's what I want. I want a partner. I want to travel the world with somebody. Roast my kids with. Build legacy. Meal prep every once in a while. I hate meal prepping all the time. Yes, I want to wake my kids up at 5 a.m. with Nerf guns. And I want a man to be hiding behind a closet so when they think they safe, he do a front flip out of it and put them in the back of the legs. I need that. You got me, babe? Because I got you.
I really should have planned my life better if I wanted to be single in my 30s, because Minnesota is not the place to do it. It's just not. Everybody is married. They have kids. They have families. They have, like, they're just doing the more traditional route of things, which is great, but it's hard to be in a whole state where that is the norm, and nobody's like me. Nobody's single in their 30s. None of my friends. None.
I'm not a strong, independent woman, okay? I need a man. I can't open the can.
This is our soft life era. We don't want to do it all. She don't want to be a strong black woman.
No.
And that's how it is for most women. Most women think they want a man's life, working every day, working 40, 50, 60 hours a week. But they get burned out. After a certain age, mostly after 35, they don't want to do this shit anymore. They don't want to work long hours. And then they come and look for a provider. But what men need to realize is that these women are not worth anything. They're not worth investing. If she's not a virgin, if she's already been fucking other guys throughout her younger days, and now she suddenly wants you have to be super stupid to wife a whore.
I don't want to be super mom.
No.
We need help.
They lied to us.
Help.
Miss Independent. Well, who that? Who? Where they do that at? Not here.
Truth of the matter is that, am I good at being independent? Yes. Do I want to be? No. I just think of all the times that I'm like building furniture and providing for myself and doing all of this, and like, that's great. And I love it. She's capable. She can. She's willing and she can. But do I want to? No. I don't want to open any more doors on my own. I don't want to hang any more TVs on my own. Can I? Yes, and I will if I must. But do I want to?
Most women are lazy as fuck. And they don't want any responsibilities. They want to put all the responsibilities on the man. And they just want to sit back and chill. And be a lazy bitch. So fuck all these fucking women.
I want a tall, handsome man to open my doors for me. I want a handsome man to hang my TVs.
I need to know if any other ladies in their 30s who are single also feel like this, because I feel like I'm actually going mad. So I'm 32. I broke up with my long-term partner last year, which was definitely the right decision. But I never thought I would be 32, living on my own in this house that I'm really fortunate and glad that I've been able to buy myself on my own. But it's incredibly lonely sometimes. But the thing is, sometimes I just feel so glad that I'm single, and I feel so glad I don't have children, and I have freedom, and I have money to spend on myself and freedom to do what I want when I want. But then sometimes I just get these moments where I just feel so incredibly sad as well, because I never thought at 32 I wouldn't have a husband, or at least a partner, or a baby or a couple of kids. I never thought I would be at this age and not have that. And it's Sunday today, and I went out for a walk on my own and stuff, and I just see all these families with their little kids and their family unit, and I just feel so incredibly sad that I don't have that. And it's just so confusing. I just need to know if other women feel like this, because I just don't really know what I really want sometimes. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, I really want to have this family and settle down and get married and everything. And then sometimes I'm like, maybe I don't want kids. Maybe that's not what I want. I want to have a partner, but I need to have the right partner. I'm not going to have a partner who is going to control me or be horrible to me again. So yeah, does anyone else feel like this? Because it's kind of driving me a little bit mad.
This is all we want, right? We're very simple. Very simple. We want a man who acts like a man, who's manly, who takes care of things. Leader. I don't need you to kill an alligator with your hands, but I need to feel so feminine around you because you are so masculine that I can turn my brain off because I know you've got it.
You see, they just want no responsibility. They want you to do everything. They want you to think about everything, to do everything, and they just want to sit back and not to deal with anything. Okay? So a manly man, from their point of view, is a man who can be used easily.
I trust you. I trust your intellect. I trust your character. I trust that I can close my eyes and follow you blindly, and I'm going to be happy about where I end up. That's what it's about. We go out. I don't have to use my brain. I don't have to think. You know what I mean? Order the whole thing for us. Take me, plan the thing. Say you tell me where we're going, and we're all set. That's honestly, it's so lost on us. And like, yes, toxic masculinity, that's not good. But we need masculinity. It's really important, and that's what we try to push. And we live in a time of, unfortunate new age feminism and this whole idea that women and men need to be the same and they need to compete, and it's all from the enemy. It's all lies.
If you guys are single, I hope that you can relate to how I'm feeling today. I've been feeling a bit down today, and I've been trying to figure out why. I think it has to do with being single at 30, and when you're this age, especially like when you grew up in the South like me and people are getting married at like age 24, 27, all the time. It starts to feel like sometimes you're watching people just move forward with their lives and you're still kind of standing still. I definitely think in a lot of ways being single is a privilege. I've made videos on it. There are so many things that I love about being single, but in the same way that being single is a privilege, there's also a privilege to being in a relationship. One of those things being that you have somebody on a daily basis to support you, to talk to, that you also get to do these new milestones like moving in together, getting a place, like maybe buying a home, like if you live somewhere besides New York. Whereas those things like, getting married are not things that you can do on your own. I think it's hard when you get to the point where you want a relationship, but you don't have good prospects for it, and like dating has not been a very encouraging process. It's actually like made me question more if it's gonna happen for me in the future. So I'm just starting to feel a little bit like everyone is paired up, and like a lot of people I know are paired up, and then it's just like me in the world. So
and remember, guys, when these women talking about they want a man, they're talking about those top 5% of men. Okay, they're not talking about the average guy, because I'm pretty sure the average guy is in their DMs. The guys who are at their level, they're still after them, but these women don't want those guys. They want the top tier guys. They want the guys who are much better than them. But those guys have options, and they don't want to deal with these bimbos. They don't want to deal with these women who've been ran through, and they're in their 30s, 40s. Why would a guy who has option want to deal with such a thing?
I feel like this is another one of those videos where it's like, I'm talking about how I feel because that's how I feel, and I'm always going to keep it real with you guys, but I don't have a solution. I hope that somebody can relate to this.
Yeah, a lot of girls want to be independent. That's fine. It's fantastic. It's a personal choice. It's not mine. I don't want to be independent, and I'm good with that. I chose to enter a relationship called marriage, in which I dedicated the rest of my life to being codependent with another person, meaning I'm sharing my life with them. We are both relying on each other for financial stability, emotional support, and just a general partnership. So whether you choose independence or codependence, there is a certain level of maturity that's required to go alongside of it. But don't be mistaken, my lack of complete independence was 100% intentional, and I'm really happy I ended up that way. And so is my husband. He's not completely independent either. It's working out really well so far.
Okay, so as a woman, one thing that I'm very sick and tired of seeing is all of these women giving bad advice, especially to the younger women. Because you know what it is? Misery loves company. I see all of these women in their 30s, 40s, 50s that are giving terrible advice to women in their 20s and even younger than that. So coming from a woman, I'm going to be honest with you and I'm going to tell you what hitting the wall means. So men value different things than women do. They value beauty, youth, and they value someone that respects themselves. When you start aging, your biological clock is ticking, and that is just a real fact. Going into your 30s, your options are going to be less than when you were in your 20s. And those guys around your age are now looking at the younger women, and you're going to be competing now with the 20-year-olds for the guys that you want.
That's true. Women, once they reach their 30s, 40s, they still have options, okay? But it's not the options that they want. It's not the options that they had access to when they were in their 20s. And that's what hitting the wall basically means. Once they reach their 30s and 40s, they cannot attract those Chads and Tyrones that they did when they were in their 20s.
And then now when you're ready to start settling down and possibly start thinking about having kids, those same guys might feel like you're rushing them and they might not want the same things at this point. So then the dating market starts getting stressful, and then now these women are rushing for time because now their biological clock is really ticking and they want to go through the stages. And then a lot of them end up single, a lot of them end up childless because they chose to have fun in their 20s instead of looking for a relationship. And they thought that when the time came that they did want to settle down, that they would still have all the options that they had when they were 20. But then reality hits, and a lot of them end up childless and single and not by choice. So don't listen to all of these women that are saying that they're so happy and they're so content with not having children and they didn't want to get married, because the reality is that a lot of them did, most of them did. And by that point, they just didn't have a choice anymore. And so they had to accept that now they are childless and single. So of course they're going to make the best out of it. But what I don't like is that they're preaching to the younger generation that this is the way to go. Because if they could have chosen otherwise, they would have.
These women who claim they're all happy in their 30s and 40s, if that was the case, then they wouldn't be using antidepressant. A lot of women in their 30s and 40s, if you look at the studies, they use antidepressant. So that by itself tells you that they're not happy.
Ladies, the strong black woman narrative is a scam. Wake up! I had a good run. I did everything the society told me to do. I worked really hard. I damn near broke my back. I paid all my bills. I put everybody else first. I told men I was independent. I refused to accept gifts and help. I said I was strong. I did it, and I did it to say that I want nothing from it.
Alright, that's it for this episode, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.